For 2 million years, sea otters patrolled the near-shore coastal waters of the northern Pacific. Before European discovery, millions of otters lived along the Pacific coast. They were at home in the kelp forest stretching from Baja California to Alaska. Otters look cute and cuddly, but in reality, they are highly tuned predators. Their fur coat keeps them warm in the chilly water of the Pacific. Europeans hunted them to near extinction for that fur. They eat a wide variety of fish and seafood, but one of their favorite meals is sea urchin. That will be important later in this story. Kelp forests are some of the most biologically rich habitat in the Pacific. Like forest and prairie on land, they provide shelter and food for so many organisms, from small invertebrates to baby fish to large, commercially valuable species. Kelp attaches to the rocky ocean floor and grow upwards towards sunlight. Some species can reach up to 100 feet tall, and they provide excellent cover for all kinds of sea life. Some animals eat the kelp itself, and others feed on the herbivores. Kelp also play an important role in cleaning their environment. They act like wetlands on land and filter out impurities from the water. Pollutants and ocean acidification are major threats to the near-shore environment. Kelp help mitigate both. They improve water quality by absorbing pollutions and help ocean acidification by breathing in the carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen like plants on land. In many ways, kelp are the kidneys and lungs of the nearshore environment. Otters protected that environment for millions of years until Europeans came along. Sea otters have some of the densest fur on Earth. The Russian Empire discovered the fur during exploratory missions between 1728 and 1742. The race for capturing the market was on. Russians, Spanish, English, and Americans all competed to control the fur trade. From the mid-1700s to the early 20th century, otters were hammered by every country who had access to them. In the 1900s, that began to change. In 1911, nations came together to try and conserve sea otters. The convention between the United States, Great Britain, Russia, and Japan for the preservation and protection of fur seals, or the Fur Seal Treaty of 1911, was a historic moment for otters. The four nations agreed to outlaw seal and otter hunting in the North Pacific. Without that agreement, otters could have gone extinct. They were on the brink and didn't have much longer. The international treaty stopped the bleeding, but it didn't help otters along the coast in the U.S. California stepped in a couple of years later and further protected them. In 1913, California protected otters in the state by making it a, quote, high misdemeanor to kill or possess them. By 1915, state biologists had already spotted a small group of otters. It was an early sign that the species could be saved. In 1938, people were amazed to see a group of 50 otters off the coast of Big Sur, California. Otters hung on until the environmental movement came to their rescue. Spurred on by the disasters like Love Canal, the Cuyahoga River catching on fire, and others, the general public started fighting for all types of environmental and conservation causes. People noticed how beneficial predators are, and sea otters greatly benefited. In fact, President Richard Nixon stated in a policy speech to Congress in 1972 that, quote, "We understand that even the animals and birds, which sometimes prey on domesticated animals, have their own value in maintaining the balance of nature," unquote. His speech and other media like Disney's The Coyote Lament signaled a shift in the anti-predator narrative that dominated U.S. history. Many Americans were waking up with a newfound appreciation of the natural world and the role predators played in it. President Nixon and Congress enacted the Marine Mammal Protection Act in 1972 and the Endangered Species Act in 1973. Both acts set up protections that were crucial for sea otter survival. Those laws, plus work by state agencies to reintroduce otters, hold the species back from the brink. They aren't thriving today, but they are much better off than in 1924. Otters are fun to watch as humans, but one species doesn't appreciate their return: sea urchins. After otters were slaughtered, sea urchins began wrecking the kelp forest. They moved in like mini lawnmowers and took down huge swaths of kelp. In the process, they removed the nearshore environment's lungs and kidneys. In some cases, researchers have identified areas that they call urchin barrens, where sea urchins have eaten entire stands of kelp for decades. Hopefully, the return of sea otters will help balance the nearshore environment. We'll see how successful sea otters can be, but it is worth working towards species recovery to correct our historical mistakes either way. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe.